Hi guys, so this is Nikki Hall, and after I posted a piece of work today on how to colour images and character images like this with Pan Pastels, I just thought I'd do you a really quick little tutorial, because this has just blown me away at the results you can get. I don't know how we haven't actually thought about this before. Anyway, so this is an image that is just actually printed on watercolour card, purely because this was just what I had to hand, and I haven't really done it on watercolour card before. So what I'm going to do, if you've not ever used Pan Pastels before, basically you get them in this little thing called a pan, and it's exactly like a normal artist's pastel stick, but what Pan Pastel did was they super milled the powder, because it's actually powder, not a cream. And the artists were complaining that there was a lot of wastage, so it's now super milled and it's compressed into this pan. Now, as you can see, this one here has broken up a little bit. It's fine, there's nothing wrong with it. It just means I need to be a bit careful with it. If you buy them individually, you get these lids with them anyway, which is super cool. And I keep these and use this as a palette, because you can either use the powder dry. It's actually a pure pigment, so if you think about it in terms of like your mica powders, it's like that but in a pan form, and you can add water to it. You can also add it to other things to colorize them, so you can add it to gesso and mediums. You could add it to your Ranger glossy accents if you wanted to actually make that coloured. It's just so versatile, and I've seen some amazing work. Now, what you need to do is, whatever you do, do not push one of the, I think it's Inkylicious, that do the big, quite bristly brushes. It's like a big duster brush that you actually do backgrounds with and stuff. Do not put those into here. And you need to be really careful, because what will happen is you'll break up all the surface like this, and then potentially that means you can waste it. These are sort of like a price point where you sort of consider it, but this will last me, I'm not kidding you, for years. I've got one here. This is Burnt Sienna shade. I've used this constantly for 2.5 years now, and you can see I've still got loads and loads left. It's just because I've actually used it right in the centre. Anyway, that's the boring stuff. Let's get on to what we're doing. So I'm using this colour, which is actually Burnt Sienna. And as you can see, I've got a really fine brush, look. And you can see how little I've actually picked up. That's actually going to be way too much. But this is a bit of a learning curve for me as well, because, you know, I've only done this once, really. So, look, because it's a powder and because it's a pure pigment, look how easy it is to blend. So just pick a little bit more up if you want it a bit darker. Now, the fantastic thing with Pan Pastels is you can blend them. So all of these colours are all blendable together. So you can mix your own colours with them. And this isn't actually the same brush that I used on my witch, if you saw that one. So I want to go quite dark. So just keep blending. And the other really awesome thing, I'm going to show you this now. Okay, sorry, excuse my arm. I've got my iPhone leaning on a punch, propped up with a glue bottle. This is a putty rubber. You can use any kind of rubber. But if you make a mistake, you can rub it out and start again. So, you know, what other products can you use that are like that? I'm going to just switch to a different brush. See if yeah, this is my favourite brush. This was the one I was using with my witch, and I actually really like this brush. It's perfect. It's called a Galleria Round S, and it's by Winsor & Newton, and number 3. Okay, and it's just quite a nice size, and it's quite soft. So look, I'm going to have to speed up, otherwise we're not going to get all of this on the video. So you blend it as much as you want, and you can lay it up. So less is more, and then just add more if you want to. Okay, now what you can do if you want is you actually can pad it into a little palette, and then that way you have a bit more control. It's just the same as like not going direct to paper with a pen, if you like. So now I've got here, this is permanent red, and this is really scary Pan Pastels, as I said, you can erase these with a rubber, but there are a couple that are called permanent, and they're called permanent for a reason. And you can still dust them off a little bit, but you know that it's more of a stain. So tiny, you can see the tiny. This is very, very much like using your distress inks, but if anything, it's kind of like just, I don't know, it's just different. It's different. It's kind of like a cross between painting and your distress markers. But look at that now. I love it. Just absolutely love it. It's so cool. Now I've actually put a lot of colour on there, and I would work that a lot more and blend it out a lot more, because if I go in with a softer brush and just blow off the excess, but look, if you want to, you can just blend that right down. And I haven't coloured the middle of her face at all there, but by blending it now, it's actually given the centre of her face a little bit of colour. Now obviously when I'm pushing it around like that, it's going to smudge out a little bit here. I'm going to cover that up anyway, and if you wanted to, you could just actually rub that out. So for the hair, I just want to show you what else you can do with it. So I've got a little bit of water here, and what I'm going to do, I'll do it with, I need to show you the mediums. Let me see. Let's do it with this colour. This is Permanent Red Extra Dark. Okay, so I'm going to get a little bit of this and literally just sweep across the surface. Look how much I'm going to use. It's like nothing. Okay, so I'm going to use that on a tiny bit of water, and now it mixes into a paint. So if you know, it's up to you how much water you add. So you can now start to watercolour with it. So if you want something, if you want a little bit more depth, because obviously it's quite a subtle effect, watercolour into there. And then I haven't got a black, but I'm going to pick up a dark grey, and look, I can start to actually mix. So I can mix it on the paper, and because this is wet now, it's going to give me a really sort of quite a sort of enhanced look, much bolder. Now the other thing that they've just brought out are these babies here. Can you see the sparkle on that? These are actually the pearlescent Pan Pastels. These are brand new, only launched this month. And that one is actually it's called a sparkle, well, it's a medium. And basically there's a black one and a white one, and there's coarse and fine. And what that actually enables you to do is, if you're using a strong colour and you don't want, or a dark colour onto, say, dark black card or something, you can actually use the black medium underneath the colour, and it'll actually enhance the colour look. So if I put red on top of there, can you see how it's just sitting on top, and it just enables the pastel to grab onto something. So you know, it enables you to have different effects. So if I took the white one, for instance, you kind of think, well, at first we thought, well, what's the white for? I don't get it. For a start, it gives you a really nice shimmer look. I mean, it's just amazing. Look at that. So if you like shine, you know, we can start actually colouring with a pearlescent sheen. But by putting the white on, what that enables us to do is, normally, if I put red onto a white surface, I kind of lose some of the colour, because it, you know, it naturally starts to blend out, so it becomes more of a pink. But look, if I actually add it onto my medium, can you see how I'm retaining that red? If I show you here, it might be easy to show you. Look, so I've got medium there, okay. So if I just get it off my brush, so if I take some red and just put it onto my watercolour board, and then just blend, look, you can see how I get it like right where I apply it. But even if I actually add a bit of water and do it, I'm not particularly doing a good job here. Look, water gives it more intensity, but you can see how this is starting to turn pink. If I actually add the red over the top of the medium, look how much can you see how more intense it is? So it just allows the pigment to grab onto the medium without losing the intensity and turning it into a paler colour like it would if you were mixing it with white. and if you actually add that on top of the black, you then get a shade. So it's like every single colour you've got in your Pan Pastels also can shade. So, you know, if you use a white or a red, sorry, a white or a black. Now I'm going to have to carry on with red now, and I didn't plan this, but I think it's going to look quite cool. So look, you can see, just blow off the excess dust. It's not going to do any harm. And to be honest, you don't get a lot anyway. I'm going really quickly here. So in here, let me get a bit more water. So what I found was I preferred it where I could actually mix a bit of water in the areas where I really wanted it dark, but then just kept the colour in other places. And I'm using the wrong brush. I've lost my brush that I was using yesterday. I don't know. Oh, sorry, I've just spoiled it. It's a little bit finer. This is this brush. It's really super fine, and this is a Royal Crafter's Choice blue brush, and it's a number 3. Look how fine this is. So hopefully, obviously I haven't got time to do the whole of this, but hopefully you can see how you can actually create some really stunning looks. I just can't believe that I've not thought about doing this before, because I've seen some amazing work with pastels, and there's some amazing pastel artists out there. But for some reason, I just thought it was going to be really difficult, and it's so not. Just need to have a little bit of water, just not too much water. You don't need a lot, and just get into that. Enables you to get into like all of these areas, and if you want to, you can go direct onto your work with your darker shades and things. So I'm going to run out of video space, but you can see that just doing that really, really quickly, and I'll try and finish this and show you it later on. Anyway, I hope that inspires you to pick up your Pan Pastels and get colour in, because it does give you a really cool image. Just obviously take a lot more care than I have here. I haven't really got much time. Okay, see you soon. Bye.